Hi, I'm making this video in a desperate plea to anybody out there that can help me with my situation that I'm about to explain. It requires an open mind and compassion. I met a man in 2014 and began dating him in 2015. His name is Greg Sawyer. This man, during the year that I lived with him, sometime put me unconscious and did a surgery on me. Basically, he implanted me with speakers and microphones, I believe, in my inner ear, my middle ear cavity, and my upper sinus cavity, somewhere in my forehead, and my abdomen. He has a listening device in my abdomen. I've been told that there is a whisper device, a whisper spy device in my upper sinus cavity as well. The purpose of these devices was to better stalk, control, manipulate, terrorize me. I started hearing his voice in the house when I still lived in the house. After that, I began seeking help because I wasn't sure what was going on. I really thought that I was having auditory hallucinations, but I wasn't. This man was priming me for a misdiagnosis of schizophrenia. This is really difficult for me to put something like this public. I've been dealing with this for 3 years, so please bear with me. I moved out in June 1st of 2016. I finally escaped him. I finally was able to find a way out. Now let me backtrack. I do not have a birth certificate. I was born at home and never registered with the Department of Vital Statistics. So I don't have a state-issued birth certificate, but I am a citizen and I have had a driver's license before. So that covers why I couldn't find any place to go. When I moved out, I left and went to Sacramento and went to a crisis center, told them what happened to me. I went to, I believe, 6 hospitals in Sacramento and was 5150'd every time, because when you look in my ears, you don't see anything because they are on the other side of my eardrum. So the stalking, the hunt, as I call it, started. And what I would hear on the speakers was everything that he was going to do to my daughters, everything that he wanted to do to me. And I later found out that on the hunt, he was chloroforming me and dragging me into his van and assaulting me. And I can remember not even coming to, you don't even remember coming awake or going out. It's just all of a sudden there. And that happened a couple times from June until August, I believe. He actually kidnapped me from the streets of Sacramento. And I woke up in his house like I had been there the whole time. I completely forgot about Sacramento. And woke up very beat up, and the back of my head was very, very swollen and sore and puffy, very puffy. And after that, I left. I got out of the house, and I started going to police. This is where the story takes a very sad turn for me. You're supposed to be able to go to the police. I was not aware of a pre-existing friendship or rapport that Greg had with the Vallejo Police Department, or a select few on the Vallejo Police Department. They're his family. So every time I went to the police, or every time the police was called for me, they already knew what had happened to me and was paid already by the doctors who are funding this type of experimentation in Orange County to look the other way. And I know I'm jumping around here and it's so confusing, and I'm going to have to do this in many different snippets of videos. And I started going to the police, and I would be 5150'd. I was taken to local hospitals and Exodus. What was happening, though, is that he was convincing me, oh, and I forgot to tell everybody that he actually has me under hypnosis. I've been under hypnosis for 3.5 years. Very true. So because of the hypnosis, I was very, very sensitive to suggestibility. And so I would believe the stories, and they would turn into, you know, it was like a pseudo delusion. And he was chasing me, and I was constantly hiding from him. And in August, he set me up on charges, falsified statements to the police, and I was subsequently arrested without my Miranda rights. I did 8.5 months like this in Solano County Jail, with this man constantly threatening me, telling me stories about things that he's done. He is a murderer, he is a rapist, and he is a pedophile. And the police know this. So what I later found out is that the police were actually paid to make sure that I get arrested. When I got out, I immediately went to the Vallejo Police Department. I did not know about their involvement at the time. I went to the Vallejo Police Department and talked with an Officer Pittman. I told him a little bit. I told him that, you know, he set me on fire from across the parking lot with magnified sunlight in Sacramento, and he stopped me and said, "I think we have enough to begin." I thought an investigation had started. And this is what they wanted me to think, is that I was safe. Once again, waiting for rescue. I continued to go to the police. I had allowed myself a year before I started to really push. I continually emailed him and let him know what I was still hearing, what was going on, the type of threats. I made calls to talk with police officers at my home about what I was hearing. The threats to go after my daughters came from not just Greg, but here the sun is coming out, but also his friends. His friends that were also the police.